Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the YBF podcast with your girl, Natasha. I don't even know how to explain today, but we're about to have some craziness up in here, and it's about to be all about relationships, monogamy, non-monogamy, swapping, hotness. Apparently, we're having wives for breakfast. We'll get to that in a minute. And and I have a room full of guests today, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Certain people that I've been wanting to talk to forever, and then new people that I'm now like very interested in talking to. So please welcome the cast and the creators of the UMC web series. Not web series, but series, flat out series of monogamy. Welcome to the show.
Yay. Thank you.
Yes. Right. And now today we have Craig Ross Jr. and Karen Ward Ross.
Yes.
The creators, and Karen's also starring in
Craig Ross Jr.'s Monogamy. Yes, I
am. We also have Jill Marie Jones. Y'all already know I got a list of questions for like my everything goals for years. Jill Marie Jones. She is here today.
Hello.
And we also have Wesley Jonathan, who's also been such a supporter of YBF from the beginning, by the way.
Yes, we go back. That's why when they told me YBF, I'm like, oh, I know.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is going to be fun. Real fun. Wait, is everybody's phones turned off on silent?
Ooh.
You know how black folks
that's
get.
That's
phones be ringing.
And so, yeah, I have it on this, not the ring, but the silent, I think.
Silent is fine.
Silent's fine.
As long as it's not on the table and making that huge vibration.
It's over there, too.
Like a vibrator. We don't have time.
No,
well, we always have time for a vibrator.
I was going to say.
We ain't got no time for a vibrator?
We'll get into it. We
got a little time for that.
Yeah.
Bada bing.
So I'm going to be tossing questions to each of you. Sometimes it's going to be, I want all of you to answer, but I'll, call on you, and I want to know your feel. No filter. My readers and listeners and viewers, everybody wants to hear it all.
Yes.
Y'all know, I feel like relationship topics are really, always going viral these days on social media. So there's much to discuss, okay?
Yes.
All right, so let me give y'all a quick synopsis in case you're not familiar with Craig Ross Jr.'s Monogamy. It follows 4 married couples who undergo an unconventional form of therapy that requires them to swap spouses with each other, all with the hopes of reviving their failing relationships. As the series progresses, relationships are tested as the spouses are forced out of their comfort zones and into the arms of someone new. This sounds real. We're going to get into it. And also, isn't this the first original series for UMC?
I don't think we're
not the first.
I don't think so. I don't know if we're the first.
Because I don't remember them having an original series, but
they've had original series before.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
but have been the number one rated.
This is number one.
But you
this
all are
is
the
the
number
best,
one,
the biggest,
okay.
the baddest.
All right, the most known.
In our second season.
Yes. So the streaming service is from AMC Networks. If you're not familiar, get into it. And the series now has a 5-star rating on Amazon Prime and IMDb. Get it.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'm over here playing like real cool, but I just heard that for the first time. So I was like, okay.
I'm here to drop facts.
And black folk don't play.
They
will let you know.
They will let you know.
Very
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so what I want to know from the creators, who are a married couple, you created this together. What was the inspiration behind this type of storyline? Is it from personal experience of couples therapy? Did you all swap before? Is this a real thing?
It is a real thing.
Wow.
But it's a real thing that, we thought of it when we were
in bed
arguing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we had some angry pillow talk.
And then some angry after sex talk.
Right. And then monogamy was kind of born from that because Karen would ask me, she would get mad at me and say, who's your perfect whoever your perfect person is would do this or do that.
And then I said, my perfect guy would do this. And so we started thinking, okay, well, if we had to be, with our perfect person, how would that work?
How would that work?
Would we still be with each other? Would we want that ideal, grass is greener type bullshit?
Right. But then what if we could have that and still be married? How would that work?
And then we got aroused again, and then we had more sex.
By the way, By the way, do you know how grown this conversation is?
I love it.
I'm
here for it.
That is such a grown.
It really is.
It is.
That's such a great conversation.
And Wesley, you're married too. So.
I am married, but here's the thing. I've known her for years.
Yes.
Okay.
I've known Craig for years actually, but just on two different plateaus. And when I hear them, and I've heard them tell this story, but when I hear them, I'm listening, like, that's great, that's fantastic. Now at the time that they're arguing, I'm pretty sure they're not, but I'm like, that's fantastic,
Right.
So Wesley, is this something that you and your wife? You've been married for 3 years now?
Yeah,
about 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Is this something that you guys have ever spoken about that you would do?
It's funny because we've only talked about it since me being a part of this show. Me doing this show, we've talked about it, and we both looked at each other like, nah, I don't think that can work. And then my wife, really, especially with me, she's like, nah, the last thing you need to do is be over there with some old woman because I know you would take it and run with it or whatever the case may be. I'm like, that's not true. I love you to death,
Right.
So, but I don't know. We talked about it and we're like, that's something I don't think, because it's like it's really like a line that Jill says in the show is that it's really risky. I mean,
Yes.
you're really playing with fire.
Like I'm getting anxiety even
thinking about
this.
it, especially when things are already weak in the relationship. So it's like, that's the last thing I want to do is push you into the arms of another man.
Right.
And then him actually doing it and doing it well. It's like, you know what I mean?
Right. Well,
But if you love something, you let it go.
And it also was born out of just the history of our relationship because it took us 10 years to get married. So I was in the arms of another man. He was in the arms of another woman. But what that did was push us to, like two magnets. It pulled us to each other. So there is the playing with fire. You can risk it all, but when you can risk it all, you can also gain it all. And that is the point of the experiment. And, just to Wesley and everybody else's defense, your marriage is at the point where it's ending. Like you are at the last possible point. You have done everything.
It's like a Hail Mary.
Yes,
It's a Hail Mary.
So
That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit it on the head. So
can we back this up a little bit? You said y'all were both in the arms of somebody else. Look, skirt. Back that up.
Yep.
we weren't together. We were broken up.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But okay. When you say broken up, so you weren't married to someone.
No, we weren't married yet.
Sorry,
No.
nigga. Sorry.
Okay.
No. This
So
is
you were in
before
a
we got
relationship.
married.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
And y'all met while you were with other people?
No, we met when we were both single.
No, actually, I was with.
No,
someone.
that's right. You were in a relationship.
It was ending though. I was in a relationship with my best friend, my high school best friend.
Oh, we can talk about that.
Yes, we can. And it was ending, and then Craig walked through the door, and we saw each other, and
It was ending.
So why
Have you ever seen the movie Love Actually?
Yes.
That's what happened. There was birds that were singing. It was a whole thing.
So what I mean is that during the course of our dating period, we had been together for years and broken up for years. And during our breakups, we had been with other people. But the growth in those relationships is ultimately what pulled us back to each other, is what I'm saying. So you're taking in our show.
I mean, we broke up like 50 times in 9 years.
Okay, let's talk about this. And I ask every man that comes on this show about this, especially if they're married now. And they always say, we had Tank on the show, and he talked about how he was with his now wife Zena for over a decade, back and forth, and he said he always knew that she was the one.
I always knew.
What the hell takes y'all so long?
Well, he was ready.
She didn't want to get married.
But y'all broke up 50 times. Why?
Because she didn't want to get married.
Wait.
Okay, Jill,
Okay. Why are you looking at him?
Because
Continue to ask. Wait. You keep asking him the same question. He keeps telling you she wasn't ready.
So go to her.
You're not asking her.
We're gonna get to her.
Right.
I want to make sure. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't do it. I wanted to make sure that was true.
But she wanted to know about men. Yeah. She
I want to know about men. Okay, yes.
Okay,
Men.
I got
And
you.
even
I got you.
Wesley,
I
you
got
can
you.
answer that too. But
got
I
you.
do want to know why men take so. It usually is the man that has an
It
issue.
was not the man.
Okay,
Not
it was the
in
man
this
this
case.
time. Okay,
I know what
so
you
It
mean.
was not the
But I
man.
So then
know what
Karen-
she means.
Right.
So then,
I know what she
Karen,
means.
what took so long?
Right?
I was not ready. I
Okay.
had been in relationship after relationship after relationship. I didn't know myself.
Okay.
We had a relating pattern that was tension-filled, triggers. All these arguments were happening in large part because I was underdeveloped. And in a lot of ways, Craig was too. So I knew that if I were to enter a marriage in that space from a place of desperation, and I'm afraid of being alone, we were going to fail.
It wasn't going to work.
So
right.
as painful as it tore my soul because I hated being away from him. I had to be okay with me first for this to work.
Okay.
So,
and that's smart.
It is.
And I think
it's very
also
mature.
too, very mature. And I think a lot of young women don't realize that part because I cannot give of myself if I don't truly know
myself
and respect and love this person.
And I was
first.
definitely afraid of being alone. And so I was
That's
going
a
to
problem.
exactly. So I was like, I have to be alone because it scares me so much. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jill, what I want to know from you is and actually from all of you, but Jill, tell me what you were taught growing up about what monogamy is and about relationships. How did you grow up?
That's a great question.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd like to hear this myself.
I'm gonna give that to Jamisha right here. Tossed that question to me, and I was like,
That's
"Yes,
awesome.
come on, therapy."
Let's go.
Come on,
I'd like to
therapy.
hear that myself.
Yes.
Well, okay, so let me just go back to like young Jill. Just a little story. I remember, like, I lost my virginity I was like well into college, so I was not like all my friends had like lost it, like junior high and high school, sadly, but it's a real thing.
It happens.
And but I like well into college, before I lost my virginity. But in high school and in junior high, I didn't know I was being a joke. I didn't know I was a joke. But like they would say, ask her, she'll tell you. And they'd say, Jill. I'm like, yeah. And they were like, are you a virgin? Yes, I'm a virgin. I'm so proud. Yes, I'm a virgin. And everything. And I was, but so to answer your question, I was taught that this is a temple and it's mine. And I share with whom I choose to.
Exactly.
But also, too, that doesn't necessarily mean that I need to be married to do that.
Right.
But it's when I say okay. So I think with a lot of other things that my mom, my amazing mother, single mother, taught me is that this is mine. So I hope I answered your question.
No, that's exactly it. And when it comes to relationships and marriage, what are your views on that? Especially just, being a woman in this industry, trying to work and be a boss and trying to be everything you are. How do relationships play into this, and how do you view that?
Well, it's really interesting because, like, in the last, say, year and a half, I've had a family member that hasn't been in the best health, and so it's been a lot of me, being a support system for that family member, but also to me working and being back and forth from Dallas to Los Angeles and trying to figure out that, kind of feeling like I'm living like 3 different lives, trying to figure it all out. But about 3 weeks ago, I guess, I was just like, wow, I think I'm, I haven't dated in that time because I know what I expect or what I want in my mate. And I know emotionally I didn't have the capacity to be able to give what I know I would want to receive. So, like, about 3 weeks ago, I was like, I think I'm ready for my person.
Okay.
And so.
Are we doing Tinder?
No, hell
okay.
no. Come on, girl.
Good.
No.
The League.
But, no.
Raya.
No.
Okay.
No.
She can go on the monogamy app that we have coming
No.
out.
No. Hell no. Hell.
The Craig Ross Jr. monogamy.
Jill's the old-fashioned type, right?
I am very much.
Me too.
I'm very much that way, but I will say.
So a girl walked into a bar. Is that the deal, or?
That's what I feel.
Well, I mean,
organic, right? You want to meet them organically.
Yeah.
So and midnight trips to the laundromat. What are we doing? What's happening?
Listen.
The grocery aisle.
Yes.
Yeah.
My friends get so mad at me about that. But
church,
yes.
Whole Foods.
Are we trying to church? What's happening?
I think when you are really open in your spirit, which I am right now, if you're really open, like, you will receive all that's meant for you to receive.
I'm open. I believe with that too.
So whether I walk out this building and somebody is raining, it's snowing outside, and someone says, "Do you need this umbrella?" I might meet somebody on the airplane. I meet a lot of people on the airplane. I have a group text, by the way, legit group text with 2 guys. I was literally going from Los Angeles to Vegas. We met on this freaking plane, and that was like 4.5 years ago. Do you know we still text? I've seen them one time, and one lives in Baltimore and one lives in Denver, and we talk. I've seen them one time. I know their children's names.
Well, you need to go out on a date,
right?
But you feel me? So
Which one?
No. But what I'm saying, I'm open. So whatever the universe brings, I'm there for.
I love that.
But I don't force it.
I love that. I love that. Craig, what were you taught growing up about monogamy and relationships and marriage?
Well, my parents were really, really young. And so what I saw from an example was that marriage doesn't work. And that my parents were divorced when I was really young. So what I was taught was from marriage was that what they did, I didn't want to do. And so I didn't get married young. I got married later. And I really wanted to know who I was and what it was I was doing and all that, because they didn't know that when they got married. And it forced them apart.
Yep.
And they had a child super, super young.
Okay.
So they were just all screwed up emotionally and what have you. And I was like, that is not going to be me.
Okay.
And so what I was taught about marriage was that I wanted my marriage to be different. That I knew I wanted to be married, but it was going to be much different. And
what you saw.
But I really learned a lot about being a man, mostly from my father. I was raised by my father. So I really learned about what a man does. And so that helped a lot in my marriage, because it helped me carve out the type of marriage I wanted to have.
The type of husband he was going to be.
So
that's important.
Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, it does.
Can I piggyback on
sure.
that? Because I'm this. Listening to you answer that, I realized I shared, which is the truth, but also too, you asked me a specific question, which I listened to you. I'm very similar to that. I didn't see a lot of marriages work growing up. I did not. My mom being a single mom, God rest my dad's soul, he's an amazing person. He's in heaven right now. But my mom my mom was a federal investigator for 40 years of her life.
Oh, wow.
Retired now. And so I saw strong black women in my house. So that literally fed me to be the woman that I am. But also, too, she was single, doing it on her own. And so good, bad, or ugly, that's who I am. So I've seen relationships, looking back, I could have done better. I didn't realize I emasculated when I did. But I look back and say, that's on me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it's just because I was just used to doing it.
Right.
Like, you toss me a ball, it doesn't hit the ground because I'm like this.
Yeah.
I got to catch it because that's just what.
So you have to learn how to be a partner and be in a partnership.
Right. And that's what probably 35, I'll be 45 in January the 4th.
45 where?
Oh, yeah, my birthday's January the 4th. Happy
She
birthday
looks
to
25.
Right, exactly.
But I'm saying, like, in my 30s, I learned a lot about just me migrating through this life as a woman, but also, too, as a partner.
I love that. Wesley, so you are now married, but you have had a public relationship with another public figure in the past. What have you learned from that type of relationship that you apply to your life now? I've noticed that men tend to, they know what they want from the get. I don't know why they do what they do and play around and do this and do that. But often they also still learn from past relationships. And I feel like it's that whole thing of like, man, like a guy will break up with a girl that he's been with forever. And then all of a sudden I'm getting married a week later.
Right.
And I'm not saying that happened to you, but I'm just saying I remember a long-term relationship you had, and then now you're married to someone else, and y'all have a really super cute kid, a daughter. What did you learn? Like, what was the change there?
Oh, it's complicated.
Isn't it all?
It is. Well, the relationship that I had prior to my marriage, again, and it's not necessarily the other person. It's you. It's me.
Yes.
The other person was great.
Right.
But it was me. I just, as a young man who'd been in this business since I was 8 years old, who's come into having a lot of money, having no money, having a lot of money, having no money. The nature of the business and having to, women, come at you and be, giving.
Is that what we call it now? They're giving. Thanksgiving.
Bearing gifts.
Yes.
So
the giving tree.
Yeah, exactly. For myself, that was something that is still a work in progress. But for the most part, in my younger years, I had a problem with that. We call it what was it, womanizing now, and we call it Playboy then.
We call it fuckboy now.
Is that what we call
Yup.
it now? Okay, well.
Fuck boy. Well, that's getting to the point.
I definitely don't go into that line.
That's right.
But I keep it 100.
Right.
It's the problem, and it's not just a problem of men. It's a problem of mankind, male or female, depending upon the category. Never being satisfied. When you have what you have in front of you, that's all you need. You still are looking for something that you have in front of you. And I'm speaking from semi-personal, semi-general as far as men go. So in my relationship prior to my now, I was doing that. It was constantly, and then what happens is human beings are a creature of habit. Even when doing something you know you shouldn't be doing, it's a habit. I have to now transform my mind. I have to have a different type of mind thinking, even with marriage. It's like, okay, listen, this is a different ball game. It's a different setting. You got a lot to lose. It's time to grow up. It's time to change. It's time to do something different. You've done something one way for a long time and it did not work. You are the problem, not necessarily her. So I say that to women who feel like when every guy they come in contact with, this one did it, that one did it, all of them do it. Listen, it's them. It's not you. It's the individual. He's got an issue. We have an issue as men when we're bouncing around and we can't figure out what we want. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've cheated on women in my past that are phenomenal, great women. There was they didn't deserve it, and they did everything I needed them to do. Because it's what do I need to have you do to act right? It ain't you, it's me. I got an issue. I don't know what the issue is to fix me. It's I got to figure that out. So there's a problem. However, now I'm just, like I said, I'm speaking on, you're talking about a complicated situation of myself, and I'm giving myself forthcoming because I don't lie.
Yes.
Like, I don't lie when I meet women.
I love this.
When I was single, I used to meet women and tell them, listen, I'm a problem. Just understand.
I love that.
I don't sell that dream of like, yeah, baby, you and me, baby, you and me. No.
Right.
I'm a problem.
Love
so
the
strap on
honesty.
your seatbelt.
Yeah.
So when it happens, I ain't rocked your world.
Right.
You knew what you're
right.
getting into.
Right.
Now I was infamous for that. So now being married and again, I've not mastered the art, but I'm far more superior than I was. I have a woman that has been quite patient with me. Continues to be patient with me. She's the sweetest person in the world, and she's older than I am, and she gets it. But again, it's you're constantly working. It's you're a constant work in yourself to try to be better. But
I respect that because a lot of men don't stop and take that self-reflection time and that self-inventory of what can I do, and women too. A lot of people just need to do, and you talked about that too. Just looking into yourself first, making sure you're good, and being honest
with yourself,
with yourself and the person that you're about to get into something with.
Right.
I always say, and I just said this in the podcast last week, I don't know why people are just so scared to be honest. Like if a man comes to you and say, look, I don't want no relationship. I'm just trying to get it in. Or hell, I wanna chill and talk, and I wanna go out on dates, and I wanna hold you and cuddle.
Why though? It's a very easy why they do it.
Why?
Because they're scared that you don't want to be.
But see, here's the thing.
No,
though.
it's insecurity.
But they're not entitled to us.
No,
though.
I'm saying, but it's insecurity though.
A lot of them don't know.
But they can only find a girl that wants that though.
Well, I get that, but maybe they want you. And
No,
what she about to say is,
but maybe they want you, and if they were really truthful in terms of what
they're not gonna have you.
Because they look at you as a queen, as you are, and maybe you're like, I ain't about that life,
right?
And so you say no, but
right?
So it's their insecurity.
So they become selfish though.
They become selfish.
That's it.
It's a manipulation.
But I think a lot of,
but it's on them, and I get it's on them. But it's frustrating. I wish men would just say, "This is what I want," because you might be surprised. She might want that too.
Right.
Some of them do, but I think a lot of men don't know what they want, especially when it comes to with each particular woman. Like when I was single, women would ask, "Well, so where's this going?
What are you looking?
What are we doing?
They love that one. What are we doing?
And this may come early on.
So I'm having a man moment here.
Right. This may come early on, and I don't know yet. I have no idea what this could be.
No, we don't. Because look, no. I've been there.
They say a man knows, like literally, 4 days in.
Makes sense.
They know that's gonna be my wife, or not that that's gonna be my wife, but
But you got to be ready for that.
That you want something serious with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to be ready for that.
Men
so
know.
if you're not ready for that, you don't know what that is.
Right.
Like I've been in relationships before where I didn't know that if I wanted to be serious or not. Now I would be upfront with that, but so I don't know what it is. So when you say it up front, I don't know if I want to get serious, but I'm seeing her every day.
Are you guys
right?
So now 3 weeks in, it's you get the so where are we going question. And you still don't know. I have no clue.
Well,
I dig you.
I think you should ask yourself though, like if she were to walk away and you were to, if she says like, well, I'm out, and the thought of like if she leaves your life, does your life still
Most
work?
of the time that answer was no.
I think we have to
back.
I think we have to back up here.
Right.
I think the challenge is that the way that we are socialized and women, there's a heavy reliance on relationships. I mean, part of our identity is who we're relating to, whether we're mothering or wifing or boyfriend and girlfriend. And a large part of men's socialization, I think the construct of manhood is the conquering of women. If you guys want to acknowledge that or not. So there's this perception that I need more.
Our value is placed in if we're attached.
Exactly.
And theirs is
and
if
how
they're
we look
unattached.
physically. And how we look physically. And we're very just relationship oriented by nature, I think, because we do bring forth life.
Right.
Whereas men, a large part of your identity is constructed around what you make and what you can provide and what you can conquer. And so those elements are like driving forces. And so, yes, 3 weeks in, you're like, okay, where are we? How are we relating? What's happening? And you're like, well, I'm just trying to move here and see what's what.
Yeah.
And so I think if we start to acknowledge that and just take stock and just be present in the moment-ships instead of relationships, then we might like get somewhere and just organically.
That would
That's where I
for a
am,
man
though.
that would be really good.
That would be a good
momentship.
So, ladies,
would be
here's
a
the
lot
thing.
better
No, but
than
that's
a
what-
relationship.
And that's where we're thinking.
Well, so
that's
here's the
where I
thing. That's the
am.
tip, lady, for all you single ladies.
Yo.
To get a man, be in that space, be in your moment.
Listen to her because
Right.
that is
That's
what,
how you get your man, okay?
Yes, no, because
Take a note.
No, that is real talk because
That's where I am because I'm more like a guy in this conversation.
and there are a few women like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm more like that. I'm more so
And he
like
will come to you.
I'm
Yes, he
more
will.
into you.
Yes, we
Yes.
will.
Yes,
we will.
they do.
When we don't have that pressure of, and then again, we'll go back to that question.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Right.
When I don't have that on my,
this?
when I don't have that monkey on my back. Now, mind you, I'm not saying let's not communicate and get what's going. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I get what that is, but for me, and this vague, what are we doing? I'd rather have you be a little bit more specific
about
Listen.
what you want.
Listen,
Right.
listen here.
Okay.
Well,
This is what I'm.
y'all can't be 8 months in and she has that conversation. You don't understand where it's coming from though.
No,
No,
there's
no.
not
Y'all be
Hold
acting
up,
shocked.
though.
Y'all be acting shocked.
Hold
if
up,
y'all
though.
have like
But you would,
time,
but you almost stop seeing that person because you know that question is coming, and you almost go. But now you're playing games
but
because
why-
you're
but
like,
why
I
don't
really
you-
want to be with you, but
why don't
I know
you-
there are questions coming, so I'm backing up.
Okay, if you know there's
and then it's
questions
like,
coming,
well, why are you backing
but
up?
if you know that there's questions coming, why don't you start the conversation?
Because you feel like you have many times, yet it's not quite.
Whoa.
You feel like you've
How?
said more than once.
What?
This
But
is-
also
I'm
men,
not really
men will show
int-
you. Men
Well,
will show
okay.
you
No.
Okay.
more
Right.
than they'll
Okay.
tell you. Men will show you
No,
more than they'll tell you.
I just want to hear this
Sure
from
will.
Craig.
So we got to
Yeah.
get those cues.
I want to hear this from Craig. What has he said to her multiple times that you felt like she?
If it was me, then I have said, in the beginning, I'm not really looking for a relationship,
Right.
Oh, well,
or
that's something
I'm not
different.
boom,
That's different.
or
That's what
what
we're
have
talking
you.
about,
But that's
though.
what we're talking
That's what
about.
we're talking
Or
But she's saying if she changes, this is 8 months later, and you
Right.
might have changed, you might not have, but she's allowed to bring that back up because it's
to
8
check- she-
months
she check-
later.
she check
Right.
in.
So
Check in.
She wants to
Check
check
in.
in.
So,
Sure.
I'm gonna be
Okay.
I'm gonna be Shaniqua.
Sure.
I'm gonna say
Shaniqua.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Shaniqua. I'm gonna be,
Shaniqua,
I'm
what's
saying
up?
like, but you at my house every day. I cook for you every night. Like you,
Well,
you
that's the problem right
you're
there.
Well-
close.
Stop doing that.
No, but
Every
what I-
night. No, got it, got it.
What
No,
I'm
but listen,
saying
this is what happens.
But like that's what happens.
happens,
So like you're
yeah.
not being like truthful to the woman because it's like, yeah, I get it. You probably said like I don't really want anything, but you up at my house every night.
You're
I
accepting
cook-
her actions.
Yeah,
Right, so
so
she's
now
checking
we're-
in.
so now
I mean,
we're, like,
8 months
2 months
later, if we're
later.
doing this every day, then I understand. I understand
Well, that's
the question.
what happens often. Though.
So
Yeah.
And then then men sometimes be like, well, I told you, but it's like mixed signals.
So
It's
then,
not fair.
I guess my question is then why are we making dinner every night and doing this every day?
yeah, because
And women need
I've
to stop
said I
doing
don't
that.
want a commitment.
because his actions is saying I love you, but he has a past to say, well, I told you. It's
Right.
So as a human, then maybe you should say like, yeah, she really loves me. If I'm not really into it, maybe I should do the right thing and like I should not
Yes.
be with her. That's real.
Well,
I
I think. Well, I don't think you should think for her. I think she should think for herself, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Y'all
she
y'all
needs to
y'all
think
know
for
y'all
herself.
can eat it too.
I'm with
That's
Craig
what it
with
is.
that.
Well,
You want
listen.
your cake and eat it too.
We do.
Just admit it.
So if you allow that to happen, we're going to take that.
You're right. right. You're right. And we have to
I was
stop
getting
doing
straight
that.
up. I was like, yo, cut the nonsense.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, I get it. I've been that girl.
Yeah.
I get it.
I think we all
and
have.
I've learned my lesson.
Yes, we all have.
Well,
You're
that
right.
kind of brings me
once
to
you as the, and it brings you to your next question.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you answer. But that's what I meant by be more specific versus the vague. What are we doing? Versus saying what are we doing? You express to him what
you want.
There you go.
Want,
and then now there you go. And now, because like I said, and now you put that now in my court. Now
it's on me.
Now there we go. Now I gotta make a decision.
Now it's on me.
I gotta make a move. But when you say what we doing, what we've been doing,
what
we've been doing for 8 months, we're gonna continue to do it long as we go.
I feel like men are often you guys need very clear, specific instructions.
Those are men that aren't really like loving the chick, though. Honestly, like
I think they're loving it all. I think
no, they're not really loving that particular chick. They're just not saying it ain't you, boo. Because I've been in all kinds of relationships, good, bad, whatever. But I'm saying, like I know when a dude is checking for me.
That's true too.
So I'm saying, like that sounds like somebody who ain't really checking for that chick.
He's checking
Real
for
talk.
what he's getting.
That's what I'm saying.
At that moment.
But in the moment.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
Because when he's really into her, they ain't having that kind of conversation.
I agree with you.
No.
I agree with you.
Because when I say I'm leaving because XYZ.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right.
10 months in. You ain't got a question for me? I'm out that door.
Right.
I'm out that door.
Right.
So
Which
that
means,
guy is stopping me before I get out that door. Baby, wait.
Right.
Baby.
Once that's presented, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now I
It's a
gotta make a
different
decision.
Okay, so this brings me to another question.
Right. But I think she's right, though.
That would be, I don't know. Yeah, I want to see how you feel about this when it comes to relationships, period. Now, this could be familial love. It could be friendship love. It can be romantic love, obviously. But I was watching Watchmen. And I don't know if y'all watch.
I love that show.
Don't you love it?
Dig that show.
I think you should direct
I gotta
that
watch
show,
the movie
Craig Ross
first.
Jr.
I heard I gotta watch the movie first.
The movie's dope.
I didn't know there was a movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's how the series came after the movie.
The series came out for a graphic novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes.
You would direct the hell out of that.
Thank
you, baby.
Do you have to watch it first to know?
Yeah, because if you don't know the
why-
story, it's very hard.
Oh my God!
It's hard to follow.
Episode 1 was so hard to follow, and I want to give up. It was bad. But
I
this
know
last
the
episode-
story. I've read all the graphic novels. I've seen the movie, but it's still hard for me to follow.
It is hard to follow. So this last episode, the episode before the
Regina King.
the last one, yes, on HBO, yes. So the
I've seen
last episode that just aired, when her spoiler alert, the guy dies again, her husband.
Right.
So he said something really interesting when they were having dinner, and they were doing flashbacks to show how they got together. Her and Mr. What's his name, Mr. The blue guy, Mr. Whatever.
Mr. Manhattan, Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan. He was telling her everything that's going to happen because he knows the future. And she said, so you want me to do all this and you want me to fall in love with you and you want us to have this family and have babies and have this and do this just to know for a fact it's going to end in tragedy? Why would I put myself through that? And he goes, don't all relationships end in tragedy?
Right.
And I was like, oh, that like shocked me. I almost cried because it's like something that I've been doing lately with myself is trying to mitigate issues before I even get into certain relationships. And then you end up finding yourself alone because you're like, I see where that's going and I'm not going to go down that road. I see where that's going, I'm not going to go down that road.
That's exactly what my wife just said. It's moment ships.
Right.
That is the most important thing I've ever heard a person say about manifesting a relationship. Is it's about the moment. I mean, you live for that particular moment, and if you're getting what you need out of that moment, then cool.
Yeah, and if it takes you where you in the long haul, if it takes you there, great. But if you try to have this moment and try to predict where it's gonna go, and you navigate your words, your feelings, and how you just because you don't want it to go this way, you're trying to stop the sabotage before it happens, and you're gonna do exactly what you're talking about. It's gonna be
my favorite song of all time. My favorite song. Frank Sinatra didn't write the song, but he covered it in the most amazing way. It's All the Way. And the lyrics that I fell in love with, it's my favorite song of all time. It says, if someone loves you, it's for sure they're going to love you all the way. And it says, who knows where the road may lead us? Only a fool would say. But if you let me love you, it's for sure I'm going to love you all the way. Like, I don't want to know what tomorrow's going to bring, but today it feels beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to die tomorrow. I have zero idea, but in this moment, it's a treasure.
Right.
So why?
So if you knew a relationship was going to end in tragedy, which if you think about it, they all do. Somebody died. Somebody's gonna die.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But
Would
you
you
should
still-
live. You should live.
You should still live. Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, we're all gonna die, but we're all living.
I
Right.
know.
Right.
And I never thought of it like that. I was like, why would I go down because you don't want to be that girl. Like, didn't you see the red flags and why did you even get into it? There's a difference between avoiding blaring red flags and taking a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And whether it's
love is a leap of faith.
yeah.
I mean, that's
it's
by its
a
definition.
beautiful tragedy, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
But you got to be
mess.
okay with the journey and
I
stop
know.
worrying about
I
the
know.
destination.
The journey is so
Right.
important. I'm learning that. I'm always so set on the destination.
That's
You
what,
know.
that's what I was trying to say. The journey versus the destination.
Destination,
You're
yeah.
trying to think about.
I
the
mean,
end,
but
yeah.
that doesn't mean that you aren't allowed to have some sense of certainty and a sense of structure. And,
But you don't have certainty though, like with like
It's a
life.
false sense of certainty.
True, but I mean, I'm certain that he's my husband. I'm certain
Yeah.
that if I need something,
Yeah.
and if by any means
Yeah.
he can give it to me, he will. So that's what I mean. I'm not wondering if I call him, is he going to call me? I don't have those.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like we enter in relationships and we're more familiar with the uncertainty and will he call me back? Is he cheating? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
no, you don't have to. For the sake of being in the moment,
Right.
subject yourself to. I just want to clarify that for
Right.
listeners thinking like, okay, I'm going to be in the moment.
But I think
and
it's different because you guys are married though, and you have a lot of years together, so that's
We do.
Your
different.
history
Yes.
behind
So that's
you.
different than
Yeah.
someone who's just dating someone and,
And
maybe
finding
a
out
year
for the
in.
first time
Yeah.
and jumping in.
But I'm just
Right.
saying,
But
but
just-
there's a freedom in just saying like, I trust in like I like this right now. You ain't gotta love it.
Right.
Right.
This feels
It feels
good
good
right,
right
now.
now, yeah.
I like it. Well, let's just see. And that's what we were talking earlier. I was saying to Karen that I am friends with all of my exes. Not we don't like chop it up on the phone, but I don't believe that everything necessarily lasts for a lifetime.
Okay.
And
I just some time that passes though. Like it
but
can't
I just
be.
don't understand.
Well,
Like,
it
how can I
depends, 'cause
share
I
these
get it.
years with someone, and then all of a sudden I just don't know you anymore?
That's how it feels when they act up and cut up and y'all got to break
Yeah.
up.
Right, well, some people.
But
think
I don't
it's
know you.
necessary.
Or when your new woman tells you can't be friends with them anymore.
Oh, speaking of that and new relationships.
Well,
Not new
that's
relationships,
something-
but
that's something else.
are
yeah.
there well, with the married couple in the room, what do you feel about hall passes and having a new situation
Hall
with a
passes.
specific person at a specific time? Yeah.
No, they both looked really excited about this conversation.
Hall
Now
passes.
this is a little different than swapping because
No,
this
no,
is
they
just
know what
like
it is.
Oh, yeah.
one
Right.
hall pass,
And we know what it
one
is.
person.
No,
And back to
they-
normal.
They
Right.
clearly know
Oh,
what
they're
it is.
well
We know what
aware.
it is.
Okay.
They
know what
both
it is.
brightened up. Yeah.
Oh, well then skip the would you do it then? Who is it? Who's the hall pass?
Well, I
See,
think we
there's-
have certain hall passes with each other.
We do.
Who is
But
it?
asking who? You heard the who.
Who?
I mean, who's the person?
Who's the person?
Oh, no.
And
Are
it
we
could be
talking
like a
about
celeb. It could be
actuality?
Man,
or-
if Idris
anyone.
Elba walked into the room right now,
So Idris Elba is your hall
Honey,
pass.
I
honey.
might have to give her a hall
Nah,
pass.
honey, bye.
Honey,
I love
bye.
you and all, but
I will call you after.
Fine, just text
I'll call you
me.
after.
I
I'll,
will.
I'll pick you up.
Cold world.
Okay, and who is yours?
Who is mine?
Selma Hayek.
She was mine.
Selma
Yeah,
Hayek.
but
It's like every man's
That's a
hall
good one.
pass.
Yeah.
But the Selma Hayek from like Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah.
with Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah.
So that's Selma
that's
Hayek.
Selma Hayek. Or let's see,
Or Karen Ward Ross.
Karen Wood Ross. Yes, of course.
You don't get a hall pass for the. You don't get a hall pass for the hall pass.
Oh, man, for the whole
But
pass.
I don't know. For me, it was. I don't know if we ever really got into because I've never really like
It's always like that, isn't it?
gone. Oh, like I gotta have this person.
They know
You
theirs,
still
but
know
we
one. You
they
still
know
know.
theirs, but we don't ever really know.
I don't
Okay,
really
well,
know
Wesley,
mine.
Wesley,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Yeah,
I don't
yours.
have
Who is
one.
yours? Yes, you do.
Come on, Wes.
Don't even
I
have.
got multiple. Yes, you
My
do.
wife is
I gotta
listening.
go home to my wife.
I don't have.
Don't
one.
even have.
Okay, who's
you know
your
what?
wife?
You know the. I don't. Oh, Usher.
Really?
Let's see how I said.
Yeah.
It's clear. It's
It's
clear
clear
with them.
who the
It's
women
clear with
are.
them.
Yeah.
Mine fluctuates like the wind. Like one day.
Mine too. Mine would fluctuate like the wind.
But,
Oh,
but that
gosh.
goes back to what we were just
Yes,
saying. Like
it
it's like
does.
today I feel like strawberry and today I feel like vanilla. It's like for us, it sounds very childish, but it's
Yes.
the truth. Men are children. This
Right.
is the bottom line is this. It could be one moment. It can be anyone from, and that's another thing. It's hard. Like if I pick a woman of color, all of them are my friends, so it's weird.
Right.
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 I can't say like like Megan Good. I can't say like Regina King. No, I can't. That's weird. No, it's weird.
Right.
So like, and then I'll go outside the box and do something like,
Why
let's
can't
see.
you be with a black woman,
Right. Like, what's the redheaded one with the full lips? That's an actress.
Bella Thorne?
No. Starts with a S. Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Somebody like her. If I say that, and it's like, why you with that redhead white girl? Well, I mean, now mind you, that's not something that I'm not saying that's my hall pass.
Right.
I'm just saying that's somebody I look at and go, that's a cute little white girl. You know what I'm saying? Or,
I think you should be able to say,
it's a hall pass. It's not like you're trying to get into a
No.
relationship.
Listen. I'm being pointy with the whole thing.
He just knows what comes with that. If you
Right,
were to
right.
say
Yeah.
that,
There you go.
I
So I don't know. So I don't know from day to day, and I just threw that in there because it's like if I throw something out, it's like it's weird. I'm literally friends with most of Taraji. All of them are my friends. So
I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So, Ja, I do have a question about you specifically. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I get every part of my question into you. Let me make sure. Okay, so basically, in case you haven't noticed, you are like everything brown girl, black girl goals. Like you and Tony Childs. Just to be sure.
Oh, you said me.
It's for you. Yes, of course.
Okay.
And so what I want to know from you, and just prefacing this, like literally she's been goals for me, every black girl I know. Like we've always loved you. You, Kelly Rowland, and now Normani are like brown girl aspirations. Like all of it. Style, beauty, personality. It's just like it's really hard to find yourself as especially a younger black girl on the screen. And so when Girlfriends was on, where did we see four black women just chopping it up and a brown-skinned black woman running shit on a show and looking like perfection. So it was just amazing for me to be able to see that as a brown-skinned black girl, and everybody I know. Kelly's the same. We want that from Normani as well. What I want to know from you is, who was that for you?
Oh my! First
up?
of all, let me just wipe the tears away. That was so beautiful. That was so kind. What's crazy is because I was very blessed to work with Tracee Ellis Ross, and her mom, honestly, like she knows it, and I'll I try to get it quick, but she knows it very much, like the love that I have for Diana Ross.
Aww.
She wasn't the first brown-skinned black woman that I saw, in a film, but she was the first one that I saw that looked like me. Like Lady Sings the Blues is a huge movie for me. And Tracee knows that, and so she would always give me like birthday gifts and Christmas gifts, and it would be like these amazing gifts, like her like special edition things from Diana Ross or whatever. And then I remember once we were at the Upfronts here in New York, and she was like, "When are you leaving?" I was like, "I'm going to be here for a couple of days because my brother lived out here." I was going to say a couple of days after, he's like, "Do you want to come and have lunch at my mom's house?"
Yeah.
What?
I'm
Like
there.
I was like lost my SHIT, and so I went there, and that was their childhood home where they grew up with Tracee and the kids grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut, and inside. Like I was like mashed potatoes, but like outside I was trying to be like, yeah, I've been places before.
I've seen people.
Yeah. I've been places before,
Right.
but it was just everything to me. Like she was a huge part of the reason why I always wanted to be an actor. Like I've always done art. My mom told me when I was like 7 years old, if you have something negative, write it down because you get it out, but you're not being mean. So I started that with my diary, and then journaling started. And then when I was 12, I started writing poetry, and then like 17, I started writing screenplays. So I've been in the arts my entire life, and then I was a gymnast for 5 years, and I was
And a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
I was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader,
oh my God,
and a Dallas Maverick dancer as well. Yes. And so I did all these things, but like I always wanted to I always wanted to be an actor, but I didn't know that I could do that. It was for me. But seeing her brown, beautiful face in that space, I was like, wow, maybe I can do that too. So that long answer is Diana Ross.
Got it.
Yeah.
Love it. Speaking of Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, so I'm obsessed. I watch Making the Team. Do you watch that reality show?
I've seen it.
I watch it every year, and I've watched it every year from the beginning. It's sad, I know, but I love it. So were Kelly and Judy there when you were there?
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I love it so much. That's so amazing. Like I don't think y'all understand.
You know,
like Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Like, are you serious?
You know Jason Garrett, our coach.
Yes.
He was second stream quarterback behind Troy when I cheered.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a full circle.
I have a
moment.
Super Bowl ring, honey bunny.
That's
I know.
dope.
Y'all don't understand.
They give
DCC,
cheerleaders
I call them
the ring,
DCC
too.
because that's what they nickname themselves. They are it. Like, they are everything. And for a black girl to be on that team, listen, I've watched this
That
show
was
from the
huge.
beginning.
It's only one
a
or two
huge
of y'all,
thing.
right?
Barely.
Three.
my
Y'all had
year.
3 a year?
We had 3.
I mean, it's
yeah.
barely
Yeah.
one now.
Yeah,
And I
that's
mean,
how
like,
it is,
every
1 or
year,
2 or
I'm
3.
always
Right.
rooting for the black girl, and they have to be beyond perfect. And I'm looking at these other
But
girls
isn't
just
that
getting
life,
it.
though?
I know, but
Yes.
it's
Don't you feel
it's
like
so
that? That's just
frustrating to
life.
see
We
every
got to
year.
work harder to be.
Yes.
That,
It
my
is-
grandmother set me down and told me that. She was like, you're
Yes.
a black girl. You're going to have to
You had to be
do things differently.
extraordinary.
But
Right.
seeing it
I think
happen
all
in
of us
real
have had
time
the
in
time.
2019, I'll just be yelling at the TV like, no, pick the black girl.
Right,
She's
right.
obviously better. So that's a
Right.
big thing for you to have done that. And congrats. And I worship you even more for that. Way to go. All right. So Wesley Jonathan,
Oh no.
we know you from, I first came to know you from like City Guys.
Okay.
And then,
Hey!
I know, right?
Her
And
first
then-
job.
My first job in LA.
What a full circle moment again.
Yeah.
Love
her
it.
first job.
And then fast forward to Roll Bounce.
Okay. So
Are
you were from 1997 to 2005.
I was in high school. That was it. Yes.
Got you. All
Millennium
right.
Time. Are you going to the Millennium Tour? Because this was Millennium Times.
Well, I'm good friends with Omarion. I'm good friends with
That answers
all
my
the-
question.
So, am I gonna go? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I love all the music and all the artists, but I mean, am I gonna go and
You
know?
should.
got
It was that
life and kid now.
time.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, wait. Are you Team Omarion or Team Fizz in April?
Stop it.
I want to know.
Stop.
I want to know.
Just stop.
It's about relationships.
hey, I did a movie with Fizz and J Boog years ago, but listen, from outside in, that was not the cool movie. I love my boy O.
It was a bad man. It
It's
was
a bad movie.
bad man code.
It's too many.
Okay.
It's too many beautiful people in the world for y'all. It's too close. It's
Yeah.
too close to home.
Are you still cool about Bow?
Yeah, I'm cool about it. I've been
Shad.
talking about it in years, but yeah, Shad, Mr. Moss, Mr. Crazy
Yes,
Moss.
yes. Okay, so y'all are in season 2 right now. What should we expect? What are we looking for? What big is happening? Drop the tea.
A lot.
Big is happening in season 2. Well,
Maggie's having twins.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm joking. I
No,
don't
what's
know.
up? Yeah.
Like
I
what?
have no idea.
Yeah, one's
One
one's
is
Carson's and
one
one's
is.
You don't know who your baby daddy is. That's
No,
right.
we do not know who her
Yeah.
baby daddy is. But in season 2, you can expect that the original spouses will
Come back together.
come back together in some way, and you'll be able to see what they were fighting for.
Yeah.
In season 2, which you didn't quite get a full grasp of in season 1.
Like, why are they working so hard on their marriage? And we
Yes.
also flash back to see, how the unraveling started, like either from their, something that happened in their past or their childhood, and how it's impacting their marriage now and why it's falling apart. So it's really juicy. There's a lot of stuff happening. Also with the experiment that's organizing it. So
Okay.
you really go on a ride in season 2.
Okay. All right. And I have to ask this question because people will probably drag me from my ponytail if I don't. Okay, Jill.
Okay.
I know that you've already said and answered this a million times that you are here for a girlfriend's movie.
Yeah.
And the whole cast said they're here for it.
Yeah.
What does that look like though? Who is Tony Childs in say it happened in 2020. Who is Tony Childs in 2020 and what does that movie actually look like?
You're saying that, like, if I were writing it, which I'm not.
I
You
mean,
say, like,
but you
what
said
would
that you
I
write screenplays, so let me know.
Oh,
yes.
oh,
yes.
like,
if you
okay.
can control the
in my
character.
ideal universe, what Tony would be doing in 2020. Well, she's fabulous.
Of course.
But she lives in New York City.
Oh,
She's here. She's here.
Made
She
a cross country move.
Well, she moved here, and
Oh,
she's
that's
she's
right.
raising baby
the
Morgan,
end,
which is
right.
not so much a baby now.
Right.
I think that she's on $1 million real
Listing?
estate.
Yeah.
The Bravo show.
$1 million
What's the Bra-
listing. Mhm.
Yeah, I think she's on that show.
I love it.
And she's like with those guys, like just selling like multi-million-dollar homes. Like has her own. I think she's thriving.
Okay.
Uh,
I mean, we didn't see her in the last season, so we don't know.
Well,
now we
don't.
know.
Well, you don't know, but you do know she's in New York City.
Okay.
Because
All right.
she went after Todd, her ex-husband, and to keep their family close. So she's in New York City. I just think that she's like wearing tutus, like with heels and skipping over potholes, like in New York City, having her Sex in the City
Yes.
moments and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And all the
Sex
girls
in the
are
City
still
on
friends.
steroids.
Right.
They're all still girlfriends.
Well, I mean, Lynn and Maya and Tony have always kept in touch.
Right.
But the Tony-Joan relationship, they have not spoken. So that
would be interesting.
Where the film or the reboot would pick up with their. That's what our fans. That's what our fans want.
There's the conflict.
There it
That's
is.
what our fans want.
And I love seeing you guys on Blackish. That was
oh my God,
everything.
we had
Thank
so
you.
much fun.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yes. Okay, so this is my last question because they're telling me to wrap it up. Okay, so me and Jamisha were having a discussion last night about soulmates, and I was like spilling all this stuff about how I felt about that. I do not feel like I truly believe in soulmates. I also do not believe that you're supposed to be with your soulmate.
Really?
I know it sounds crazy,
That's
right?
deep.
Yeah.
I feel like your soulmate is somebody that it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like it's somebody you're tied to at your core, and you might know it from birth, or you might know it later on in life. And from that moment on, whether y'all speak or not, whether y'all see each other or not, you always just feel this tie. They see you as if you don't even, your exterior doesn't even exist, and you see them the same way. They see straight through you, and you see straight through them. It's the one person that you connect with at your core.
So do you believe that you only get one? Yeah, see, I don't believe you only get one.
Really?
I mean, I personally don't believe you only get, yeah.
Well, I was reading that if you're with that person, it can almost, it's almost like it's like a kismet, I guess it's the word. You're not supposed to, it always feels like that person you really, really want to be with, you never really are able to. There's always all these things in the way. And maybe that could have been what happened with you all over those 10 years before you actually got together. Yeah. There's always this bad timing or bad situation.
Knew that my soul wasn't settled without him.
That's the feeling.
Yeah. And
my wife calls it the red string theory, where everybody is attached to at least one other person with an invisible, imaginable
string,
red string.
And it twists and turns, but
ultimately it's connected to you, to this other person that eventually in your life you will find it.
Right, and it's a Japanese. It's an I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese, but I didn't think of it, so I just want to give credit that it's an Asian fable that does say that. And like you, I do believe that soulmates can come in different forms, and I think oftentimes they show up as the people that cause you the most pain and suffering and growth, because your soul growth. I also believe until in marriage, until death do you part. But that death can be not literal. It can be metaphorical. Like when you no longer start growing and your soul's not evolving, then it's died, and that's the end. So
that's tragic.
Because I have a guy best friend. One of my best friends, he's a guy. And we've never
clear that up.
He's a guy. We've never dated, and I'm not attracted to him in that way. And honestly, I really do believe. No.
I'm just joking.
And I really don't believe. I've never felt that he's not attracted to me as well in
Strictly
that way.
Platonic.
Strictly platonic. And so, and I've known him probably 22 years. I really do think that he's one of my soulmates.
I love that.
Like we connect in a way like that's my person. One of my not my person, but like he's like somebody that means a lot and knows me in a very specific way. I think he's one of my soulmates.
Can a man be attracted to an attractive woman and not be attracted to her?
Of course they can.
Nope.
Say that again.
Can a man be best friends with an attractive woman?
Because the moment you ask for sex, if he says yes, then it's no longer just friendship.
Eventually, even if he tries to fight it, eventually physicality he wants to step in.
21, 22 years.
I don't think.
Listen,
I think he can.
Listen, I got with somebody after we were friends for 20 years, and it was amazing, but we never did anything for 20 years.
Yeah.
No,
He's one of my best friends.
Done.
It happened.
No, it can be done, but don't think that he hasn't
thought
about it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
If he's
heterosexual, he's definitely
thought
about
it. Thank you. If he's thought about it, yeah.
I've learned so much from you guys, from the married side to the embarking on love and opening yourself side. I mean, I love all of this, and thank you so much for being here and for being so open about everything.
This was awesome,
thank
Natasha.
you.
You're amazing.
Appreciate you.
And obviously, monogamy
Craig Ross
is
Jr.'s monogamy.
Craig, yes,
it's a mouthful.
Sorry, I know. I'm like, wait, let me get the.
I'm the wife. I'm the wife. Stepping in.
Craig Ross Jr.'s monogamy on UMC and
Amazon Prime.
and Amazon Prime.
Yes, and the season finale is actually
tonight.
So
streaming tonight.
Yeah, so people can binge all of season 1 and binge all and watch it with your boo. With
and
your
if you
bang.
have Amazon Prime, you get all this stuff for free, guys. Remember that. Yes, Amazon Prime. You have to have an Amazon Prime membership, and it comes with your membership. So watch it. Get the Black love in your life, even if